I'm going to provide you what you call an insight on what are the requirements, what are the essential requirements, checklists that you definitely need to have when you are planning to move from Uganda to Qatar on what you call the freelancing visa. By the way, is it your first time to come across Mexcreationtv? Provide you what you call an insight on what are the requirements, what are the essential requirements, checklists that you definitely need to have when you are planning to move from Uganda to Qatar on what you call the freelancing visa. By the way, is it your first time to come across Mexcreationtv? Don't hesitate to subscribe. Don't hesitate to give him a follow. Giving you Mexcreationtv, giving you a guide living in Qatar, selfishly making life easier for you, giving you some of the insights regarding to the law, most of the basic information knowledge that definitely should have for you to live in these small Gulf countries quickly, much easier. Yes, when you look at freelancing visas, most of you have opted to come individually on what we call these visas as individual, because you hope to work for what we call an individual basis. You hope to work on your own. However, something that we need to understand, the implicity, what you call the implicity, complicities of some of the challenges that definitely you are going to face, especially when you're coming to Qatar on what we call a freelancing visa. However, something that definitely need to let you know that before you planning to come in Qatar on what you call a freelancing visa, you need to put down what we call a checklist. There are those requirements that definitely you'll need, and there are those things that definitely you'll need to understand before you plan to come into the small Gulf countries. Remember, Qatar, Doha city has a lot of opportunities when it comes to the job opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities outside because there are a lot of companies outside there that are willing to recruit and willing to offer job. However, how do you navigate into the opportunities that are available for you, for yourself who's on a freelancing, to be able to be among those successful job seekers that can be able to get the opportunity? There's a lot of scope of things, steps that definitely should understand. And today's video, we want to go through what you call some of those checklists that definitely should understand. However, something that definitely should understand, first of all, the excitement and the challenges of relocating to Qatar for work. Yes, first of all, you need to understand the challenges of culture, working environment, especially if you are coming on the first time in Qatar as a newcomer or a job seeker. Yes, you look at language, the working environment, securing a job, housing, so such kind of things, especially if you're coming on a housing or on what you call a freelancing, may be a little bit harder and difficult for you for the first time you are coming. So you should be able, you should put it in mind that I need to take care of myself, or I'll have all these things at hand before I plan to move. Yes, most of you normally, I always advise you and tell you that if you are planning to come to Qatar, especially from Uganda, have money that can be able to sustain you for the first 6 months, if you are really going to look for a job for your own, because sometimes things may not be easy depending on what you call the available job markets, and what you call, there will be, on some particular cases, will be the required skills by the employer, the employers or the companies that are recruiting. Even what you call the work experience. Remember, if you are a first job seeker coming to the country for the first time, it may be a little bit very hard for you. Unless you always have luck, it may be a little bit very hard for you, because most of the job seekers will look for people that have already have an experience in the country for more than 1 year. So which will be left out in any way if you don't have the experience. So know that it's going to be a very big challenge for you. And if you don't have money that can sustain yourself for the 6 months, it's going to be very hard. We look at what we call it transportation also. We need to move from one job, we need to move from one company to another company to look for work, or you need to move for connections, networking. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Also, something else you need to understand, one of the challenges, maybe a little bit making things harder, is the environment, what we call language. Especially to some communities, you may find people speaking Hindi and you may be conversant with it. You may find some environment people speaking Arabic and you may not be conversant with it. So may make this same kind of situation may make what you call your job hunting or looking for those opportunities being harder and harder. So it takes a while for the person to look for those opportunities, and it requires that person who is resilient and who is able to persevere or to push himself positively to find that he can be able to find what you call an opportunity in this portraying what you call this job market in any or the other. However, something that you definitely should understand, that when you are planning to come on what you call, for example, if you're Ugandan and you're planning to come on what you call a freelancing, one of the checklists that different, one of the things that you need to check is the cultural differences. Yes, you'll see Muslims, we see the environment, the working environment. You're going to totally find different people, which may take a little while for you to be able to catch up with them, and definitely to be able to come into the country. Yes, let us try to look at into what you call the checklist. What you need to do. First of all, what you need to understand before you are planning, you need to be able to have enough money with you on yourself. Yes, you have the necessary document for you. Yes, you have the passport with you. That is definitely going to help you as you're trying. Have you got that legit company that's going to give you the visa? Is that legit company that's going to give you a visa willing or will be able to make for you a residence permit? Because it has to finish up what you call the formalities. For most of you who have come here and companies are not going to be able to make for you what you call residence permit, these companies have put you in tight times for you to live into the country because you are ever on run, and most of you've overstayed your visas and been incurring what you call overstay cost fees, of which even the person who gave you the visa is not willing, because he has cases or you have hindrances or you have blocks from the ministry for him to process of what you call the work permit or what you call the residence permit for you. So make sure you take a check, cross check into that company or even that person that's applying for you. There's a lot of things that definitely you can ask. You can ask what you call computer card. There's a lot of things you can try to network and see that whether the person that's going to give you a visa is a right person. Especially if you're far away and you're not in the country, you can try to connect with other people and try to see they can do double checks before you can try to pay up the money. So you find in those kind of situations, you may find that it becomes a little bit very hard. Then also planning yourself as yourself. Do you have enough money? Have you planned for yourself especially? Because remember, you're going to take care of yourself. Most of you you've come into Uganda and you've come with nothing, totally nothing, not even to sustain yourself, thinking that the employer, thinking the person that the person that gave you visa is going to finish up the going to look after you for the next 6 months or 6 months. And also these people have ended up turning against you, and they totally get to deny you or even chase you away from where. So you are left out hanging in suspense. You don't have where to go, and even at the same time you don't have work to do. So you find it creates a situation that's so different or very different for you, that creates life a little bit harder for you. So when you are planning to come in this kind of such kind of things, that definitely you need to understand that you need to be able to research thoroughly enough and read and understand that this is a kind of situation I'm going to go through, and I'll be able to survive by myself to get through this kind of situation. However, something that you need to understand when you're coming in these Gulf countries, it's always very, very important for you to make what you call research on what you are coming for. If it is a freelancing visa, make full thorough research on that company that's going to give you the visa. If it's an agent that's going to give you the visa, make a full thorough research on that agent that's going to give you a visa, to avoid any in-between circumstances that may come of one and one have to fight and what to. Remember, when you get enough research and insight on what you're going to do, it gives you a very proper planning for you, especially when it comes into this Gulf country. Hope I've tried to share some insight on what you need to understand if you're planning to come to Qatar on what you call a freelancing visa. There's a lot of things that definitely you didn't understand. One, you should have enough money with you that can sustain for 6 months. You should be able to make a lot of research regarding which company is going to give you the work and which kind of person is going to apply for the visa. Then we look at issues of accommodation, where you are going to stay. It's quite very important. You should be able to be, and you should know exactly what kind of career, what kind of job you are going to look for. Most of you have come here and you don't even know the job that you are going to work. You've ended up having professions in your visas that are far away, even more than even what you call the experience that you have, even the education. So you find that you will enter into the country and you will not be able to be fit into the job market. You will end up doing jobs that are even lower than what you expected, which will even give you a lower amount of money. So definitely those are kind of things that definitely you need to check and need to understand before you come to Qatar if you are coming from